Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
Because Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple have made a $1 million donation to humanitarian orgs, matching employee donations 2-to-1 and developing a crypto to cash direct giving program for aid to Ukrainian families with our exchange's NGO partner and global XRP community. How about that? Class act right there. Look right here, this is Eleanor Tarrant. According to his latest financial disclosures, SEC Chair Gary Gensler is heavily invested in emerging markets ETF that has a 3% exposure to Russia. Big money managers like BlackRock have held informal talks with the SEC to exempt them from a 2016 law that puts a cap on the proportion of illiquid funds they can hold. This means that Gensler would be voting to change laws relating to his own investments. Big conflict of interest? Oh, it just continues to stack up. But we got a lot to look at today, so let's keep it moving. This here is Fox, and they're talking about Russia using China's central bank digital currency. Russia using China's central bank digital currency, the yuan, would be the way, not crypto. This aligns really with what we heard from Ashish Birla and Brad Garlinghouse, that there's not enough liquidity to use crypto for Russia's daily payment flows. Take a look at this right here. I want you to hear this clip here.
For clarifying what these regulations are actually going to be. I think at the moment, crypto is probably doing more to help Ukraine. There are significant sums going in crypto form to Ukraine than it is helping any oligarchs. As a way around sanctions, Bitcoin is a non-starter. The way the Russians will get around sanctions is with Chinese central bank digital currency, I would predict. I do wish the Biden administration would actually study up and realize that crypto is actually something that the United States can use to its advantage, rather than thinking we should just close it down and copy the Chinese with the central bank digital currency. That is the wrong way to go.
They seem so afraid. Between what Powell said today and Elizabeth Warren and the White House, it looks like they're going to go full press to try to derail this digital revolution.
And I don't think they're going to be successful, because I think it's going to dawn on them somewhere in the process that they better embrace it. Because if not, it will innovate around them. That's the point. Take a look right here. We got to get into this, because this is the interview. Shout out to Coining203 here. Brad Garlinghouse at Fox talking Ripple versus SEC. Let's get into it. It's a straight 5 minutes, and it's all very, very good. Check it out.
Inappropriate activity.
Listen, it's the same with the U.S. dollar. Appropriate activity, inappropriate activity. Joining us now on the set, CEO of leading enterprise blockchain company Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. Yes, of course, Ripple, related to XRP. Brad would know a thing or two about this, along with Charlie Gasparino.
I know nothing. He knows everything.
I know nothing. What do you make of what Powell said? He kind of gave it to both sides.
What did he say, though? Did he say anything? It's not entirely clear. Well, I do want to start by just saying that I and the team at Ripple feel so strongly about standing with the people of Ukraine, and I just want to put that out there.
Sure.
But my comment as I listen to some of the things I hear out of Washington is just I feel that there's a lack of knowledge. There's a lack of information about how crypto really works. And I think it does a disservice to responsible actors like Ripple who are working with governments, with sanctions. Everything that is enforced from a sanction point of view through fiat currency, anything that Ripple does is enforced in the exact same way. And so there's no different level playing field. And I think in some ways I heard Senator Warren saying things yesterday that felt like it's holding crypto to a different standard and expecting, for example, a blanket ban of all crypto in some of these countries in a way that, like, well, you can still use PayPal, you can still use these, some of these other things, and I don't think we should treat them differently.
Ripple is like Swift, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, Ripple's starting point, kind of our first use case for the technology, the blockchain technology, and the digital asset XRP was to solve that cross-border payments problem.
Right.
Swift is quite antiquated, kind of designed 50 years ago. It's slow, it's expensive, but it is a choke point that the governments use to enforce sanctions. My point is, nothing that Ripple is doing circumvents any of that.
So you're following the sanctions exactly? Like, for example, it's like, 8 banks, but a couple can still trade through it theoretically?
Correct. The sanctions are applied through what I'll call the choke points, the on-ramps and off-ramps. That's true for Swift, that's true for Ripple. Regardless of what I'll call just the plumbing of how things are moving, the choke points are the endpoints. So I think, when I step back and look at this, I think there is a lack of knowledge. I think people need to understand that crypto isn't this kind of black box. It's kind of back from when it was known as Silk Road. The industry has come a long way.
So an oligarch, or let's just say Vladimir Putin, couldn't finance tanks through Bitcoin.
One of the things that people don't realize is there's just not enough liquidity.
Yeah.
Russia used to trade pre-sanctions $50 billion of cross-border kind of transactions per day. Crypto does not have anywhere near that. So, in the same way that somebody could be taking wheelbarrows of rubles or the Ukrainian currency across to Poland and things like, there are ways you could do that, but it's really not significantly dissimilar.
Why are they so obsessed with it then? It's like so weird.
I think it's a kind of clickbait. It's a hot item. I think people, it adds a relevance and excitement around some of these things, but I think people don't understand.
Well, we had spoken to Gary Gensler of the Securities and Exchange Commission. I know you saw that interview because we were emailing afterward about it, but he specifically tried to say that he wants to very much focus on what's a security and what is an actual token, a cryptocurrency. I feel like if that's the case and he's holding you to that standard, at some point he's going to have to go after Ether as well, because Ether and Ethereum are those two very similar paths, just like XRP and Ripple, are they not?
I think that's absolutely true. I don't want to comment on what they should or shouldn't do. I think as it relates to Ethereum, my view is it's very clear Ethereum's a currency. It's very clear XRP is a currency, and that the SEC. I mean, he was interviewed yesterday. Gary Gensler was, or maybe it was even this morning, and commented that, hey, we're going to lose some cases. This is the definition of regulation by enforcement.
He was going to lose. You think he was saying he's going to lose your case?
I don't know what he was saying. I think but he did say, "Hey, we're going to lose some, and we're okay with that."
Where are you on the case? Let's get an update.
Really quickly, so I mean, Charles Gasparino, I mean, we're all hearing that language, that verbiage that we reported on yesterday from Gary Gensler, talking about you gotta win some, you're gonna lose some. I mean, I tell you, everyone's picking up on that verbiage. There's something there. I don't know what it is, but there's something there. Keep listening.
quick update. On Monday was the last day of expert testimony, expert depositions, etc. And so the case continues to move forward. We're expecting some decisions from the court, sooner rather than later as it relates to a couple of decisions before the court. But look, it's moved slowly. I think Gary Gensler has continued to kind of go with a narrative that crypto is the Wild West. It's not the Wild West. Are there bad actors? Yes, there's bad actors in all parts of...
bad actors in money laundering in U.S. dollars.
I found it fascinating from reading the documents for all the stuff they said about how bad it was that you did an unregistered securities. They never say anything bad about your platform. Why is that?
And of course, well, the irony there is, like, we were in the SEC's offices. I met with Chairman Clayton. I was meeting with commissioners. No one ever once said, hey, we think XRP is a security. And they look backwards and say, now we think it's all a security. That's a hard argument.
Please come back. Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple. We are coming right back, Charlie. Thank you.
There it is right there, and what a great point. They never said the entire time they were in those offices meeting with those people that they were a security. And to Charles Gasparino's point too, they never say that the network is flawed or something's wrong with that. Alright, now let's get into this. So this right here is an old MIT clip here. We've played it a long time ago, I think, when Gary Gensler was being nominated for the SEC chair spot. But nevertheless, I want to go over it again because I believe this is really a huge core part of how the SEC versus Ripple came to be anyway. What you're going to hear here is Gary Gensler describe pre-allocation of coins, of tokens from companies to banks. And you don't believe me? Don't believe it, it's still true. We're going to get into it here. Take a listen really quickly.
Central monopolist with another central monopolist. A lot of commercial banks aren't terribly excited about that. Maybe you're going to have to give some ownership. Maybe you'll have to give 50% of your ownership to the 20 banks that are now, part of this. I mean, there are other ways to build incentive systems. Maybe you put a native token in there and you get...
And there we have it right there. Think about what is going on, right? Think about the idea that, look, I'm not shooting from the hip here. He's telling you, if you're a new player in the finance world doesn't really want you to have power or a market share. Continue to listen here.
And you give them the native token. So there may be other incentive ways to beat the current monopolist, But I, having been around commercial banks for a long time, they really are looking for ways to replace their aggregators in their back office, whether it's clearing, settlement, exchanges, credit agencies. But they are deeply understanding, because they are pretty ambitious and very good at making money as well. They deeply understand that every idea that's pitched to them is somebody who currently is small but wants to get big and gain market power.
And they don't want to give it up. That's exactly what's been going on here. So let's go to this. Let's understand this. So you have the lawsuit, the complaint itself filed by the SEC. I have told you about this before. Gary Gensler explained line 82 at the MIT video you just heard. Ripple also undertook to achieve its goal of widespread distribution of XRP by exchanging XRP for non-cash consideration such as labor and market-making services. Now, here's where I believe, and I'm 12 years short of a law degree, here's where I believe a great rub is. Because the reality is if you see and understand XRP to be a virtual currency as I do, then this is not a security contract. This is called seigniorage. If you understand XRP to be a security the way Gary Gensler would like to, then you see what this non-cash consideration and for labor and market making services to be a securities contract. I do not. However, let's take a look at this really quickly. Take a look at this. This came out just 2 days ago from Eleanor Tarrant. It says here the latest from Secretary Janet Yellen, the U.S. Treasury Secretary. Cryptocurrency networks will be subject to anti-money laundering and sanctions if they aid Russia in evading sanctions. Cryptocurrency networks. Why am I saying that? Because to be clear, this message is from the Treasury, not the SEC. Hint, hint. I believe that the government ultimately understands that the network, the RippleNet XRP Ledger protocol, are in fact going to fall underneath of the Treasury, at least for a designation, I believe. And I believe that because if this is accurate, then why would Janet Yellen be talking about evading sanctions using cryptocurrency networks? It would fall underneath of Gary Gensler to do that. But Gary Gensler is a market regulator where the Treasury has FSOC and OFAC, which are prudential regulators that are over top of market regulators. And ultimately, because the cryptocurrency networks that work, like RippleNet and XRP Ledger, that all speaks to being a virtual currency network to me. Again, very quickly, I want to play this old clip from Miguel Villas. Hope you're doing well. This is him explaining what seigniorage is if you understand that XRP is a virtual currency, not a security. Then there isn't any issue with the contracts that they've arranged with the market makers that they incentivized. And you're about to hear him explain how they will lend it to you and they will even pay the difference of the spread. If the old way that you were making a market is cheaper, we're going to incentivize you by lending you XRP and then paying you any difference that you incur by using the new bridge path, because over time utility and liquidity makes its way onto the network. Over time creates a higher price and value for XRP. Check it out.
Right. I think ours is a little more public, especially if the company owns so much. What I would say is it puts us in a very interesting position with respect to economics. Because, number one, so my job is building liquidity. One of the ways you do that is you lend XRP to people so that they can provide liquidity in markets. You want to provide a bid and an offer in the market, you have to have cash to buy something. And if you want to sell it, you have to have the thing to sell. Well, the only way you sell something is either own it or you borrow it. In the Bitcoin space, it's really hard to borrow stuff. It's expensive. 10 to 15% annual interest rates, and it's hard to find really chunky loans. With XRP, people would just come to us and be like, hey, I want to borrow some XRP. Not anybody, but really professional market makers. It's something that we can do that nobody else can do, right? In that flow that I described, where somebody's buying XRP, moving it, and selling it, we can guarantee the rates. So everybody always asks me, well, you're bridging between two fiat currencies. Like, you have to do two hops, there's two spreads you're crossing, the liquidity is not great, it's volatile. No problem. I will pay you the difference. If you're going across this rail and it's expensive, I am very much incentivized to make sure that you do that, because the more liquidity, the more utility, in theory, over time, the more valuable XRP will be. So in the short run, we're very much incentivized to make all those restrictions go away. So I don't see our holdings as a detriment, and I definitely do not care if there are skeptics about everything. But it puts us in an incredibly powerful position to actually activate the use case.
And that is actually the definition he just explained of seigniorage. The definition here is profits made from government by issuing currency, especially the difference between the face value of coins and their production cost. Well, XRP is pre-mined, and they hold it in escrow, and they exercise monetary policy by not dumping it onto the market. When they leave some out, it is to either sell over the counter to a market maker, or it is to use for operating expenses.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.